La semaine dernière, j'ai demandé au ministre des Transports et de l'Infrastructure quelle section de route était prévue cette année pour l'installation de clôtures contre les animaux sauvages. Il n'a pas répondu à ma question. Le problème des collisions avec animaux est grave et pourtant le clôturage a beaucoup ralenti. Il semble qu'on installe des clôtures seulement quand on construit de nouvelles routes comme celle à 4 voies entre Saint-Stephen et Le Pro ou les contournements de Caraquette. Est-ce que le ministre des Transports et de l'Infrastructure va enfin nous dire si des clôtures ont été installées de 2013 et 2016 aux endroits les plus vulnérables pour ce genre d'accident?
The Honourable Minister, Department of Transportation.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I want to thank the member opposite for the question and raising an important issue. At the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, we take the safety of the traveling public very seriously. We have many things that go into wildlife mitigation, including brush cutting, enhanced signage, warning signs, public awareness campaigns, and moose fencing. I can tell you that we've invested significant dollars in wildlife mitigation last year, the year before, and again this year, Mr. Speaker, and will continue to do everything we can to mitigate the risks associated with wildlife issues.
Leader of the third party.
Mr. Speaker, as it turns out, the Department's been using data collected between 3 and 10 years ago to determine which areas are hotspots along our routes, highways and roads. However, based on the number of collisions between vehicles and moose over the past few months, and it seems clear to me that this is outdated and it's necessary to build more wildlife fencing. The Shediac Fire Chief has called a section of Highway 15 between Shediac and Dieppe a serious threat to public safety. The Mayor of Shediac sent a letter to the province asking for fencing in September, which the Minister rejected. Other highways with moose collisions reported this year include 2 sections of Route 8 between McGivney and Blackville and between Russellville Road and Alarville, and Highway 2 between Sackville and Moncton. Will the Minister of Transportation confirm if there has been any wildlife fencing constructed this year that is not associated with the building of new highways?
The Honourable Minister of Transportation.
Mr. Speaker, what I can confirm here today is I had a conversation with the Mayor of Shediac just yesterday, Mr. Speaker, in regards to the situation in the Shediac region. We've set up a meeting with him and his Public Safety Committee, which includes the Fire Chief from Shediac, Ambulance New Brunswick personnel, RCMP, and other members of Council. We're going to be having that meeting to look at the most up-to-date data that they've collected as a group, and we're going to do the right thing for the safety of that section of highway. As I said, Mr. Speaker, we take safety of the traveling public very seriously. We've invested heavily in wildlife mitigation in the last 3 years. We're going to continue to do that.
Leader of the third party.
Mr. Speaker, it seems to me that the Minister's Department has not been building wildlife fencing on existing roads and highways where there are hotspots with wildlife. Mr. Speaker, the Minister said that construction of wildlife fencing is important strategic infrastructure in the past, and that they believe in investing in strategic infrastructure. So I think it's important this form of infrastructure that requires routine maintenance, such as the maintenance that was done to fix the fence on Route 7 between St. John and Fredericton to keep New Brunswick safe. This week, the government released its 2018-19 capital budget. Can the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure tell the House if there is any money allocated for the construction of wildlife fencing on existing routes in this capital budget? And if so, how much is allocated for this initiative in the 2018-19 budget?
The Honourable Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure.
Mr. Speaker, once again, I want to thank the member opposite for bringing this important issue to light. We're very much aware there's horrific accidents that we have to deal with every year, Mr. Speaker, on New Brunswick highways, whether they're collisions with other motor vehicles or whether they're collisions with wildlife. As I said to the Mayor yesterday, my heart and my thoughts go out to those people who are involved in those horrific accidents, and I'm sure every member in here and every member of the public is aware of a situation or has a family member that was involved in one type of or another of those situations. We take this very seriously, Mr. Speaker. We've invested heavily in wildlife mitigation. 2015-16, we invested over $5 million in wildlife mitigation, over $4.4 million last year, or in 2016-17, 2017-18, another $4.1 million invested, Mr. Speaker, and we'll be investing more money in the coming budget to do more wildlife mitigation, Mr. Speaker, because we take this very seriously.